All right, you guys, let's get rocking here tonight. I want to continue to expand on everything we've been doing in the past weeks, but specifically, I'm going to target some things I always tell you guys. I love to talk specifically on what I hear going on in your guys' life. Okay, so when I have things come in multiple times from different people, I'm like, okay, pay attention, Jordan. And I want to talk specifically around vision tonight. Okay. So when I say the word vision, what comes to your mind? And there's no wrong answers here. I'm genuinely curious. So for Harold, for you, when I say the word vision, what comes to mind?
Dreams and desires of where you want to be and what you want to do.
Love that. Lamar, how about you?
Yeah, I would say so. It's picturing yourself as to where you want to be from where you were.
Mm, that's good. Anybody else want to add to any of that? Anybody got anything different? I love those two things. For me, that's it. I'm right there with you. I think for me, it's just vision isn't just seeing, it's seeing something that doesn't exist yet and then living today as if it's possible and really believing that to me that's vision, right? So could you let me ask you this now. Let's take that question a little further. Could you clearly describe the person you're trying to become? How about you, Alan?
I don't know if I could describe it because you keep wanting more too, you know.
Sure.
If that makes sense.
A little paradoxical question, right?
Yeah,
Yeah. So like this would be a good example is like most people would say like I want to lose 30 pounds or something along those lines. But then
right.
it's like, okay, we can take it so much further. Should we actually being like, I want to be the kind of father that's energetic enough to wrestle with his kids, or like what I've been doing, throwing football or shooting basketball with the kids. I want to be somebody who keeps their promises to themselves. I want to be somebody who walks in a room with confidence. Those are continued, maybe some deeper things. And I think we can even go way deeper than that. So I want to tie this in then to when we're struggling, right? We've been talking about the struggle piece of, the questionnaires. So when you're actually feeling unmotivated or struggling, are you really? Or have you just lost sight of what you're going after or who you're trying to be? This popped up a couple times in some conversations in my DMs with everybody here the last couple weeks. And I had to remind individuals of, hey, remember this was your goal. Remember this is what you told me you wanted to achieve. And then it was like it clicked instantly and they're like, "Oh, yes. Yes." And this was five or six people I had this conversation with over the last 2 weeks. And so I'm like paying attention so much to this. And so when was the last time you actually spent like 5 to 10 uninterrupted minutes thinking about the life you're trying to build or the person you're trying to be? You're working to be is a better word. I probably shouldn't use the word trying there, that you are actively working to be. When was the last time you really sat down uninterrupted and really thought about that and really like, dude, could I, that last question, could I really describe that person that I'm working to be or that I am being every day? I'm intentionally working at being. And so, there's these. I was thinking about this and trying to, in a teaching form, right? And I'm like, okay, if you put two circles, see if you guys can see this. If not, we'll just describe it. So if we have a circle here, no, it's not going to show up, guys. Oh
There
yeah,
it is.
maybe. I'm going to attempt. Okay, so in this circle we have our current reality. I can't spell. Don't make fun of me. Okay. You guys, if you follow me on Instagram, you guys all know that. Okay, so current reality, and I really want to emphasize the word current here. Okay. So in this, we have like our habits. Okay. We have our body, our mindset. We have even excuses in our current environment, even. And I'm sure that environment, I don't know. Missing an O. Environment. Okay. So we have all of these things, you guys. And then and there's more. There's more. You guys could add a ton of these. And then we have, right, our vision. Okay, and this isn't necessarily a current reality, right? It's something that is in the future. Maybe circle there. It's just hard to fit it all in. And here we have, who you want to be. That's the big one, right? We have, even how we want to feel. I'll just put feel in here to make it all fit. We even have like what for some of us, it's even like what our marriage looks like. So marriage would be a big one in here. Our health, obviously, is why we're all here. How we lead each other, how we lead our kids, all of that, right? All those kinds of things. Our vision. It's not that they're not part of our current reality. The big thing about vision, you guys, is vision, once it's casted, once you think about some of the future things that you haven't accomplished yet, the amazing thing about vision is then you start to pull the circles together and they start to morph, right? This circle would actually extend into this, and these words would come up into here, and they would play. They'd play in both arenas, because if you ever want the vision to become a current reality, we have to then play in today and do the things. We have to do today who we want to be. We have to do today how we want to feel. We have to do today how we want our marriage to look like, right? It doesn't mean perfection. We go over this all the time, but it takes action, okay? So what circles have occupied most of your mental space this week? Is it, I'm struggling with my habits. I want my body to look different. I'm thinking about my excuses all the time. All of these things. Or have we stopped and taken some of those uninterrupted minutes and thought about our vision and remembered? Let's really think about the word and remembered what we're trying to do. Okay. So when we focus on vision more frequently, it is much easier to continue the journey. It is much easier not to quit. We can continue on because it just becomes part of our life. And the next goal comes, like Alan said, the next one comes. And that's the beautiful, beautiful, beautiful piece of it. I don't think people quit because they lose discipline or anything like that. I think they quit because their problems become more vivid than their vision. I think we even struggle more often because our problems become more vivid than the vision. If I sat here and thought about, on the monetary side of things, my wife quitting her job last week and what it's got to look like now, right? I will sit there and dwell on the problem versus creativity and serving my clients and do all of the things, right, that I should be living, all of the bottom circle things, not the top circle things. Without vision, the alarm wins, stress wins, the couch wins, excuses wins, fear wins. All of those things start to occupy our mental space because the future isn't emotionally real enough to compete with the comfort of today. Think about that. The future then isn't emotionally enough to compete with the comfort of today. And a lot of times fear and those things pull us into this like weird space where it almost freezes us from action. And man, that's not maybe comfort, but it's a weird space to be in. And that's where we have to lean back on vision and trust what's been given to us and those visions that have been put in our hearts to go and do and live this life, to go really after it and have fun with it. And so it's like I ask myself this, and it's fun because I can ask you guys this, right? Like, because you're my clients. If I followed you around for the last 2 weeks, would I know what your vision is?
Mhm.
I ask myself this sometimes too, and I'm like, man, would it be clear what I'm trying to accomplish, or would it be like, dude, like people would think you're lazy, or people would think like whatever thoughts. So that's a good question to ask yourself, right? You don't have to answer this right here, but like if you were to follow yourself around for 2 weeks, would it be clear to people what your vision is, what your goals are, what kind of person you are? And I love this. I was reminded of this today too. It's like in Proverbs, it says, I can't remember where it's at, but I think it's in like Proverbs 29 or somewhere, but where there is no vision, the people perish. And I don't necessarily think that always has to mean like physical death. But I also think it can maybe possibly mean like our dreams perish and our confidence perish and our marriages perish and our potential perishes and our standards. And eventually the person that you were created to be slowly disappears underneath the weight of all the distractions in life. I'm gonna quotate that life because that's not your life. Like you've been given life and life abundant. We just have to go take grasp of that invitation and go after it and just be in it. And that's where it gets really fun. So tonight, I don't want you to think about losing weight. I really want you to remember who you said you wanted to become throughout this whole process and this transformation. I want you to remember that because once that vision becomes clear again and we establish it, discipline stops feeling like punishment. I don't even like using the word discipline, but it fits. But discipline stops feeling like punishment, or the things that we're supposed to do are quote unquote obligations. And it starts to feel like alignment. I talked about alignment last night on my Instagram stories. I don't know if that's still up. It's not, it's over. That was a good little piece, but I talked about alignment on that and how tension, like when you are, and vision does this. Vision creates tension, you guys, because when you have vision, what happens? You are obligated to see where you want to go and your current actions right now. And if those don't match, guess what you feel? Tension. I'll use this is the easiest analogy. I sit here and talk to you guys about living beyond average. I talk to you about all these things. I encourage you through all of that. And throughout the last 8 months to a year, I felt some amount of tension in that. And the tension continued to grow as my wife's working a corporate job, not happy. Because it doesn't align with what what we say we want to accomplish and what she wants to be inside of our business. And so we set this date, right, for her to quit. Date gets there, fear takes over, we don't follow through. Happened multiple times. One of our big dates was in February before we did our big summit. And then it was crazy because we go down there with 4 other couples, or with 2 other couples, and both of them the husband and wife work together. And so it was like, dude, we're down there for these people, and little do they know, they know this, but they literally poured back into us exactly what it was that we were feeling tension with, and gave us encouragement and gave us courage to be like, no, we can do this. And you know what I mean? And so it's like, if that tension will stay there and continue to get worse because the alignment of your life is not matching what you are desiring. And eventually you have to take a risk if that's what it is. You have to make a move if that's what it is. You have to make a decision if that's what it is, and really go for it and have some faith in it. Right? Because where do we want to be down the line? Be like, dude, if I should just went for it. None of us want that regret. And so vision really is the creator of direction. Okay. And then awareness reveals that gap, right? Where the tension comes in. And then the choice that you make closes that gap. The choices that we make close that gap. And that's where the identity of yourself is formed. Or maybe you just become aware of your real identity. And that is the piece of transformation. Okay. So vision creates that the direction. Vision creates the direction. Awareness reveals that gap. The choices you make in that then start to close that gap. And that is the revealer of your identity and a big part of your transformation. Questions on vision tonight, you guys? I want you to take those uninterrupted minutes tonight, and I want you to recast, reestablish, redefine the vision that you have for yourself when you started. And ideally, it should have grown since you've started, right? All of you have grown. Every one of you in here has grown tremendously. Every one of you who is listening on the recording later has grown tremendously. So let's continue to recast that vision. I think these revision calls are extremely important. So I want you to do it. I want you to also share it with me after you've redefined it. Drop it in the DMs for me. If you want to share it in the group page too, part of it, if you don't want to share all of it, but if you have some stuff, I think that's amazing too. It encourages you, gives you a little accountability, and it also encourages others big time, more than you think. I get a lot of messages on this post and stuff like that, and people who don't even post in there and then are like, dude, they're so encouraged by it. So don't take it lightly. It's a big deal. Okay, you guys, I look forward to getting some of your messages and seeing that stuff over the coming day. And I hope you have an amazing rest of your night. Any other questions before we log off here that I can help you with?
No.
Okay. Vision, 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 guys. It's amazing. I'll be reminding us here the rest of the week on it as well. And I hope you have an amazing rest of your week. And I can't wait to see you guys on the next coaching call. We'll talk to you later.
Thanks.
Bye.
Bye.
Love ya.
Love ya.
Love ya. Bye.